Chris, thank you. New today, the South Carolina Supreme Court will take a closer look at South Carolina's options for executing death row inmates, including 2 from the upstate. The question is that whether the state's firing squad and electric chair are unconstitutional. Fox Carolina's Myra Ruiz joins us now with what's to come.
Well, Margaret Ann, last year a lower court judge ruled that those methods of execution are cruel, and the state Supreme Court will decide whether they are cruel and unusual punishment as well. Now, right now there are more than 30 death row inmates in South Carolina. That includes 2 from the upstate. Brad Sigmund received the death penalty for the beating deaths of David and Gladys Lark of Taylor's. His execution was delayed as state lawmakers worked to establish a firing squad as an option, and eventually that was done. But Richard Moore is also sentenced to die and awaiting execution for the shooting death of James Mahoney. Moore's execution date was set for January 20th of last year, but he declined to choose either the electric chair or the firing squad. And we spoke to Senator Josh Kimbrell, who worked on one of the bills involving the death penalty, and he says that, the Supreme Court has a difficult decision before them. Meantime, state lawmakers are also working on a shield law. Now, those two current forms of punishment came about as lethal injection drugs became less and less available. So he says that there needs to be a solution while keeping the death penalty as a deterrent to crime.
Ultimately, the reason we have a death penalty deterrent is because of the heinous crimes that are committed. So this constant debate over whether or not we can do this and all this court involvement and the constant lawsuits is very emotionally trying for all parties involved, those who are waiting sentences and the families that are awaiting justice.
And again, the state Supreme Court will be discussing the constitutionality of the firing squad and the electric chair, but a decision is not expected anytime soon. And of course, Fox Carolina will keep you updated on whatever the court decides. Margaret Ann?